our pre-meeting and get ready for our meeting starting at 10. We do have reorganization of council vote today, both for council president and council pro tem. Any questions on that? All right, then we have a proclamation we'll have from the mayor. Recognize October 29th, 2022 as Turkish Republic Day. Approval of minutes, September 15th, 2022, 2 p.m. special called council work session. September 26th, 2022, 5 p.m. council work session. October 3rd, 2022, 5:30 p.m. council work session. And October 3rd, 2022, 6 p.m. council meeting. Any questions? All right, approved monthly bills, approved September 2022 monthly bills. Any questions? All right, public hearings, resolution 22-270, approved request for off-premise beer, wine, and liquor license for S&S Liquors LLC, doing business as Alabama Beverage Company, Decatur at 1315 6th Avenue Southeast, Decatur, Alabama 35601.
No changes.
Any questions? Resolution 22-271, approved request for off-premise beer and wine license for OM22 LLC, doing business as Food Mart at 17 14th Street Southwest, Unit C, Decatur, Alabama 35601.
No changes.
Any questions? Resolutions. Resolution 22-272, approved request for a special use permit for T-Mobile to modify equipment on existing tower located at 522 T Laurel Street Southwest.
Good
David?
morning, President, Council, Mayor. David Andrews with CMS. I apologize for not being present at last week's work session. We have 4 resolutions on the agenda today. The first one is for 522 Laurel. This is a modification by T-Mobile to provide 5G service in the southwest Decatur area. It's a 120-foot monopole. They're requesting to remove 3 antennas and add 3 new antennas to the tower. CMS has reviewed the application and recommends approval.
All right, any questions on that one? All right, the next one is for 1824 Presbyterian Tower Southwest.
Yes, sir. This one is mounted on top of the 74-foot building there at Presbyterian Towers, and it's the same exact scope of work. They're going to remove 3 antennas and add 3, and it's being done for 5G. CMS has reviewed and recommends approval.
All right, any questions on that one? All right, then 105T 14th Street Southwest.
Yes, sir. This is a 119-foot monopole. They actually have 9 antennas mounted on this tower. They're going to remove 6 of the existing antennas and replace them with 3 new ones, and it's for a 5G upgrade. CMS has reviewed and recommends approval.
Any questions on that one? All right, then the last one is 409 Bradley Street Southwest.
Yes, sir. This is a 105-foot monopole tower, and they're going to remove 3 antennas and replace them with 3 new ones for a 5G upgrade. CMS has reviewed and recommends approval by the council.
All right, any questions on that one? Thanks, David.
Yes, sir.
Resolution 22-276, approve the purchase of Volvo EC250E hydraulic excavator for the City of Decatur, Morgan County landfill. Any questions? Resolution 22-277, approve the purchase of access system for the entrance gate and buildings for the City of Decatur, Morgan County landfill.
No changes.
Any questions? Resolution 22-278, approve capital improvements to the security gate at the Decatur, Morgan County landfill.
No changes.
No changes. Any questions? All right, resolution 22-279, approve Trident Security Services agreement.
Mayor, Council President, Council. This is a resolution to change the security company for the front security we have outside from Allied Security Services to Trident Security Services. We've had significant issues with the ones we have right now, so we feel it's better to move on and go somewhere else with the contract.
Okay, and it was budgeted, so.
Yes, sir.
All right, any questions on that one? Thanks. All right, the next is Resolution 22-280, approved memorandum of understanding with Decatur Utilities for street cut repair guidelines and specifications. We had some discussion last week about adding an administrative type fee. Had some discussions with DU, and I think everybody's good with that and good with some language proposed. We still need to work out some details of that, so we talked with Herman this morning and Stephanie, and probably will remove this unless there's anyone opposed to that, just to make sure we're all good with the language. I think we are, but no reason to rush into it without making sure. So, Herman, anything to add?
No, that's right. I talked with, after you talked to him here.
Talked to Gary.
Greg Harden, he's fine with that. But we're very close. It's just a question of a little tweaking.
Okay. Any questions y'all have? All right, so we will remove that and add it when we get an agreement on the language. All right, moving to Resolution 22-281, Adopt City's Unclaimed Funds Policy.
No changes.
Any questions? Resolution 22-282, authorize the mayor to sign FY23 community service contracts.
No change.
Any questions? Resolution 22-284, authorize the finance department to remove the accounts from the landfill department accounts receivable due to the inability to collect.
That was one change, and remove one of the accounts that paid.
Yeah, and I think I've got that if anybody wants to see it, if you don't have it, but one of them paid, so we just changed it to remove them from the list, so. All right, any other questions on that? All right, Resolution 22-285, approve budget amendments to the FY22 funds for the Old State Bank Department. Okay, any questions? Resolution 22-286, approve the mayor to accept Frameworks Architecture's contract for the master plan at Founders Park.
No change.
Okay, any questions? Resolution 22-287, approve the mayor to accept and sign Frameworks Architecture contract for the cemetery building.
No change.
Okay, any questions? Resolution 22-288, approve the mayor to accept and sign Frameworks Architecture's contract for updating the council chambers at City Hall.
No change.
Any questions? Resolution 22-289, approve the mayor to accept and sign Frameworks Architecture's contract for the softball complex.
No change.
Any questions? All right, Resolution 22-290, authorize budget amendment for Princess Theater gutter replacement and canopy repairs.
There were no changes unless Jason clears.
Okay. You're good, Jason? All right, any questions? Resolution 22-291, accept the Family Matters grant.
No changes.
Any questions? Resolution 22-292, approve Dia de los Muertos event sponsorship, and do you have anything? This is an event that the ACA is kind of hosting. There's corporate sponsors, and they asked if the city could sponsor as well, to go towards food and different things. That's what it is. I do think it is a good thing for the city, and specifically showing support for our Hispanic neighbors and friends. So that's what that is. Any questions or discussion? Resolution 22-293, authorize the mayor to sign contract with the Morgan County Emergency Management Communication District for dispatch and call processing services.
Yes, sir. This is the same contract we sign every year. The changes in the contract this year are they have split the services for the police and the fire, made that two different items, and the overall cost has gone up by $1,385.75.
All right, any questions? Thanks, Chip. Ordinances, ordinance number 22-4538, adopt changes to chapter 24.5, sections 53 and 55 of the Code of Decatur, Alabama Wrecker Services.
Well, there's no changes from what was presented last week.
Okay.
A gentleman will be here to speak if you guys have any questions.
Okay. Any questions from the council? All right, boards and committees, appoint Julian Price III to the Farmers Market Board, term expiring January 1st, 2024. Any questions? Reappoint Sue Newcomb to the Farmers Market Board, term expiring January 5th, 2025. Okay, any questions? All right, we'll get started at 10 o'clock. Thanks. Herman, you ready? You good? All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Pastor Joe McKeag with Decatur Baptist Church will lead us in our invocation and pledge.
Father, we love you. We're grateful for this day. Thank you for your blessings on the city of Decatur, for the continued prosperity we enjoy. Thank you for those who serve our city, for our law enforcement, for our fire department, for all the city employees. Father, we thank you for these that lead us. We ask you today as they meet that you would give them wisdom and direction that comes only from you, that we may continue to enjoy your blessings upon this place. We're grateful for all that you do for us. We're grateful for them and their service, and ask for your blessings today in the name of your Son, our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Joe. Roll call.
Ladner.
Here.
McMaster.
Here.
Jackson.
Here.
White.
Here.
Pepper.
Here.
All right, we will get started with the reorganization of council, and just wanted to give a little background on this. I think at our first organizational meeting, there was a vote where we said in this term we would elect every year for council president and council pro tem. And then last year, this would take effect the first meeting of November, and I asked Herman if we could go ahead and do it if there's a change. That way the person would be ready and prepared to lead the meeting instead of just passing the gavel while we take the vote. So that's why we're doing it a couple weeks early. So I will open the floor for nomination for council president.
I'd like to nominate you, Mr. Ladner, to continue to stay as council president.
All right, we do have a nomination.
Second that.
There's a second by Mr. Pike, nomination by Mr. Pepper. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
White.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
All right, that election is approved 4-1. Next, we'll open the floor for the election of council pro tempore.
I'd like to nominate Mr. McMasters.
Second that.
All right, we have a nomination by Mr. Pepper and a second by Mr. Pike for Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
White.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
That election is approved with a vote of 4-1. Next on the agenda is proclamation. Recognize October 29th, 2022 as Turkish Republic Day. Mayor?
Mr. Canataza, will you join me, please? Good. I think it's about 8 years ago. Come on, stand up here. About 8 years ago, I had the privilege of meeting you whenever you, how long have you been here?
I think it had been almost 11 years.
Really?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
we met around 10 years ago.
Okay,
A little more than that.
okay, see, I'm cutting things short.
Yeah.
You serve as the project and engineering manager for Polyplex.
Correct.
Currently doing an expansion here in Decatur. We're thrilled about that. Shrewd businessman. You're tough to get an order out of. I'll tell you that.
Thank you so much.
But with that, you're very proud of the country that you come from.
Of course.
And so with that, we have a proclamation today that has some very big words in it. And so I'm going to invite Jason Lake to come up and. All right. So whereas October 20, I normally don't read all the way through these, but I am in this case because there's a lot of history in here. Okay. Whereas October 29th, 1923 is the date of the founding of the Republic of Turkey by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. Very good. Whereas Turkey is the only secular democracy with a majority Muslim population and has supported the U.S. in every major conflict since the Korean War, made significant contributions to the United States foreign policy in the Balkans, the Middle East, Central Asia, and the
Caucasus.
Thank you very much. And played a critical role in international efforts, peace, prosperity, and stability. And whereas modern Turkey has become an integral part of NATO and remains an important U.S. and NATO ally, And whereas Turkey was one of the first allies to show unconditional solidarity with our nation in the war against terrorism and has demonstrated its commitment to the values of liberty, diversity, and justice, as well as a long-term strategic partnership with the United States of America. Whereas Americans of Turkish descent in the city of Decatur, Alabama, have played a significant role in the education, cultural, economic, and civic development of our community through sharing their rich cultural heritage and through their dedication to the responsibilities of good citizenship. And whereas all Turks and Turkish Americans will be celebrating the Turkish Republic Day on October the 29th, 2022, therefore I, Tab Bowling, along with the City Council of Decatur, Alabama, do hereby recognize October the 29th, 2022 as Turkish Republic Day in the city of Decatur. And we have this for you.
Thanks
Okay?
so much.
You have any comments?
Yeah, I would like to say a few words, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, I'm living in the States for the last 11 years only. I do have a kind of an international background. I was born and raised in Germany for 10 years. In between, I had different experiences also in the other countries of the world. I lived in Turkey for 11 years also, though I'm a Turkish guy. What I wanted to say is the most free version of my life I had is happening last 10, 11 years over here, where all my thoughts is being appreciated and listened without any bias. And it's really I'm really proud to be able to live in this country. And I'm also looking forward to be a citizenship of the country as well. A few words about the Turkish, or the new formal way of saying Turkish is Türkiye. About Turkey is we are kind of fresh country, like 100 years old. Hopefully this next year we'll be celebrating the 100th year of our republic. And Turkey had come amongst big challenges and big battles. But the history always shows that we had been always good allies with the US in different areas of the world. And hopefully within the states itself, we do have multiple Turkish and American associations. I think we do have almost 47. Only 3 states are there which we do not have any association established yet, which is Hawaii, Alaska, and there was one more state, I couldn't remember the name. We are centered managed through the association in Washington. And all these associations are working hardly to establish the relation and the communication between local Turkish and American citizens. And I'm really thankful about today's proclamation being presented. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Mayor. All right, we will move into our agenda now, approval of minutes. We will take A, C, and D together and then B separately. Do we have a motion for A, C,
So moved.
D? Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call?
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Abstain.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Those minutes are approved 4-0 with 1 abstention. And then we'll take B by itself.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call?
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
And those minutes are approved 5-0. Next, we have approved monthly bills.
So moved.
Hold on one second. We are gonna, there was a request to remove check 6635 and vote on it separately. So we'll take everything except 6635 first.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call?
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Those are approved 5-0, and then we'll vote specifically on 6635.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
And that one is approved 4-1. All right, public hearings, Resolution 22-270, approve request for off-premise beer, wine, and liquor license for SNS Liquors LLC, doing business as Alabama Beverage Company, Decatur, at 1315 6th Avenue Southeast, Decatur, Alabama 35601.
This is a change in ownership.
All right, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone here to speak on this item, you can speak now. All right, seeing no one here to speak, we'll consider the public hearing closed. Do we have a motion? Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-270 is approved 5-0. Next is Resolution 22-271, approve request for off-premise beer and wine license for OM 22 LLC, doing business as Food Mart at 17 14th Street Southwest, Unit C, Decatur, Alabama 35601.
And this is also a change in ownership.
All right, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone here to speak on this item, you can speak now. All right, seeing no one here to speak, we will consider the public hearing closed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-271 is approved 5-0. Next, we have resolutions. Resolution 22-272, approve request for a special use permit for T-Mobile to modify equipment on existing tower located at 522 T Laurel Street Southwest.
Good morning, President, Council, Mayor. David Andrews with CMS. This resolution is for a special use permit for T-Mobile to modify the existing tower located at Laurel Street. That's a 120-foot tower. They currently are providing service with 6 antennas mounted on the tower. They're requesting to remove 3 of those antennas and replace them with 3 new ones. This is being completed for a 5G technology upgrade. CMS has reviewed the application and recommends approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-272 is approved 5-0. Next is Resolution 22-273, approve request for a special use permit for T-Mobile to modify equipment on an existing tower located at 1824 Presbyterian Tower Southwest.
Yes, sir. This is mounted on the building there at Presbyterian Tower. They are currently providing service from this location. They're requesting to remove 3 antennas and replace them with 3 new ones for a 5G technology upgrade.
So moved.
CMS has reviewed the application and recommends approval.
There's a motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion?
Didn't mean to cut you off.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-273 is approved 5-0. Resolution 22-274, approve request for a special use permit for T-Mobile to modify equipment on an existing tower located at 105 T 14th Street Southwest.
Yes, sir. This is a 120-foot monopole tower. T-Mobile is requesting to remove 6 antennas and replace them with 3. This is being done for a 5G technology upgrade. CMS has reviewed the application and recommends approval.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pepper. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-274 is approved 5-0. Resolution 22-275, approve request for a special use permit for T-Mobile to modify equipment on an existing tower located at 409 Bradley Street Southwest.
Yes, sir. This is a 105-foot monopole tower. T-Mobile is providing service. They're requesting to remove 3 antennas and replace them with 3 new ones for a 5G technology upgrade. CMS has reviewed the application and recommends approval.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-275 5 is approved 5-0. Resolution 22-276, approve the purchase of Volvo EC250E hydraulic excavator for the City of Decatur, Morgan County landfill.
Wanda Tyler, Landfill and Recycling. One of the most important things that we do on a weekly basis, mainly on a daily basis, is to excavate dirt to cover our garbage and trash. We need to replace it's more than 10-year-old excavator. So we're asking you to approve this purchase of a Volvo excavator for the landfill.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Widener.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-276 is approved 5-0. Next is Resolution 22-277, approve the purchase of access system for the entrance gate and buildings for the City of Decatur, Morgan County landfill.
The current software that we have, and actually the actual control box, is outdated, and we need to replace it. And this is actually the replacing that control box and the software.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Widener.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson. Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-277 is approved 5-0. Next is Resolution 22-278, approve capital improvements to the security gate at the Decatur Morgan County landfill.
Yes, we're asking your approval for the actual replacing the front access gate.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMasters, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Widener.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-278 approved 5-0. Resolution 22-279 approved Trident Security Services Agreement.
Yes, sir. This is to replace our current building security firm with a new security firm. We've had, as you know, we've had problems in the past with quality, staffing, and quality control of the current security company. So we're wishing to venture to a different company to have them provide those services for us.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pepper. Any discussion?
Captain, I don't want to put you on the spot, but what kind of improvements are we expecting out of the new company?
There will be an on-site supervisor with them instead of the two we have now. They will also have an on-site supervisor with them. They will also do patrols throughout the building and on the grounds now instead of just staying static. That will be the supervisor's responsibility. We're hoping to have better security coming through the doors and everything. Right now, we've had significant issues with our current company allowing weapons inside the building that we've caught later on. We've had them not show up for work. Their supervisor's unaware they didn't show up for work, so we were having a lot of staffing issues with it, where we would have to pull a corrections officer or patrolman off the street to actually do front door security.
Okay. And I appreciate all the changes that we're going to get. Was the other company, just out of curiosity, were these issues addressed with the other company?
We had spoken with them numerous times, and they never seemed to be addressed.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call.
Widener.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-279 is approved 5-0. We are removing we did remove Resolution 22-280 from the agenda. Resolution 22-281 adopts city's unclaimed funds policy.
Good morning, Council and Mayor. Dawn Roniger, Finance Department. We would like for the unclaimed funds policy to be considered by this council. Generally, we would have anywhere from about 300 to 350 unclaimed checks. These are generally overpayments or refunds that the city has attempted to refund, but they are returned undeliverable. We are also instituting an electronic funds transfer policy where we are paying vendors by EFT, so hopefully that will resolve a lot of this as well. After 2 attempts, we'll publish the payee on the city's website, where we would have an intense vetting of the claims. Anybody who comes forward will have to prove their identity and their right to the payment. After 2 years, 2 years after issuance, those unclaimed funds would then become the city's.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-281 is approved 5-0. Resolution 22-282, authorize the mayor to sign FY23 community service contracts.
Morning, Council. Kyle Demeester, Finance. This resolution essentially gives the mayor authority to sign the community service contracts that were approved in the FY23 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Always abstain.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-282 is approved 4-0 with one abstention. Resolution 22-284, authorize the Finance Department to remove the accounts from the Landfill Department accounts receivables due to the inability to collect.
Yes, in some cases, we have some customers that due to a change in the business operation or some other reasons, we can't collect the debt. So we have, I think now, just 4. It's less than $2,000 that we want to write off, and these are accounts that are over 6 years old.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-284 is approved 5-0. Resolution 22-285, approved budget amendments to the FY22 of funds for the Old State Bank Department.
Council, this is just some housekeeping related to expenses exceeding budget. Essentially, there was some, and Jason maybe can comment on the repairs and maintenance and additional funds needed for temporary services within this department. The total ask is $9,000.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMasters,
Second.
second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-285 approved 5-0. Resolution 22-286 approved the mayor to accept Frameworks Architecture's contract for the master plan at Founders Park.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. Jason Lake, Parks and Recreation. This would allow us to start the process with an architect to come up with a master plan for Founders Park.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion?
Jason, how do we choose this this architect?
Some of the work he had done before, he helped with Founders Park before, so it made sense that he continued to do so.
Okay.
And just, I think we discussed this last week, but any expenditure to do with this.
We'll come back to
would
council
here.
when we have a number.
Yeah.
This just is telling us to
Work with the
Work, right.
architect. All right, any other discussion?
So again, we've got a percentage in there, but we don't have a figure at all. So any figure will come back before us.
I will come back with that number.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-286 is approved 5-0. Resolution 22-287, approve the mayor to accept and sign Frameworks Architecture's contract for the cemetery building.
Similar as to the last one, this one has had some work done, but this is just making sure that this is a project that we want to at least take a look at.
All right, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? And this has to do with some of the Baker Foundation work that they're doing with the chapel and kind of how we do
Yes, this would be us getting out of the chapel, and this would be what we had talked to the Baker Foundation about, looking at as far as
For
what type
maintenance.
of accommodations we
Yeah.
would make.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-287 is approved 5-0. Resolution 22-288, approve the mayor to accept and sign Frameworks Architecture's contract for updating the council chambers at City Hall.
Similar deal to the first two. This has had very little work done with it. This would just be us coming up with some ways to update the council chambers.
Now, I'm sorry, you need a motion.
No.
So
Motion by Mr. McMasters,
Second.
second by Mr. Pike. Discussion.
When we say update the council chambers, what are we actually saying, Jason?
There's going to be quite a few options in that. So one of the first things would be updating how we do our internet connections, those kind of things with the wires, different stuff. The seats are another thing. ADA was something that Chief Allen had brought up to us in the past that kind of got the conversation started. So.
Okay. And how long have we been kicking this idea around?
The first time that I know it was brought up was, like I say, by Chief Allen a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I know he mentioned it too before budget last year.
Right.
It was mainly about the seating and the ADA issues.
This is the original council chamber. Nothing's really changed since 1970. It's where we do people's business. The seating is, as Jason mentioned, needs improving. There's a lot of improvements that need to be made in here.
But I just want to know specifically what we're looking at.
Yeah, well, as he mentioned, he highlighted a few, but there'll be numerous things that we'll be looking at.
Okay. And again, we've been kicking this idea around for over a year now, and we've not actually come together to discuss specifically what we're doing, and I just want to know specifically what we're doing.
Good.
I don't want to step on any toes here, but I would be definitely interested in bringing us up to ADA compliance for the chairs and whatnot, but that's probably going to be the only thing that I support when it comes to updating the council chambers. I mean, I'm all for ADA compliance, but that's about all I want to update. I mean, I don't know if there's a way that we can separate items on the agenda or whatnot.
The only thing I can say to that, and maybe to Mr. Jackson's question, is I don't think any of us know what those are because we haven't had an architect do it yet.
And that's what this will do?
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, because I
A lot
don't
of
either.
the audio visual stuff too will be?
And everything will have, it's not like we're going to do it and there's just going to be one lump sum cost. We will break stuff down into options that we can do. In other words, like many other bids that we have done, is this one will have options to different ways you can redo the chair. In other words, ways to make it to where the cost can be a little less than the whole lump sum total. Maybe we do it in phases after we look at what the architects say.
I guess, you know, cost is always a factor, but I guess I'm more concerned with the fact that, you know, there's been discussion, it appears, and we are looking at making changes. And we've been talking about that for a year now, and now it's come to a situation where we're going to vote on something that impacts that change, and we haven't been actually given a full preview of what we're looking at.
I understand.
That's my concern. At this point, I will go along with moving forward, but that's my concern at this particular point.
All right, any other discussion? All right, roll call.
Leitner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Potts. Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-288 to approve 5-0. Resolution 22-289, approve the mayor to accept and sign Framework Architecture's contract for the softball complex.
Similar to the others, this would be the land that we just purchased from Neil Holland and the MOU that we have done with Austin, and this will be adding a softball complex to that location.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion?
And we've done work with Frameworks before on softball.
They did check out. They
All right, any other discussion? This would include the section we worked with the city.
It'll be all,
schools.
yeah, when we look at the project, now it is the whole thing.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? Roll call.
Leitner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-289 approved 4-1. Resolution 22-290, authorized budget amendment for Princess Theater gutter replacement and canopy repairs.
This is to add money to that. When we got into this, we did not realize there were going to be some of the rotten areas until you start tearing it apart, there's just no way to know. So that's the reason we're adding this now.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pike,
Second.
second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion?
This has nothing to do with lighting or anything like that, correct?
No, this, to my knowledge, is just behind actually where they were tearing apart.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call?
Wagner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-290 approved 5-0. Resolution 22-291, accept the Family Matters Grant.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Suzanne Henderson, Grants Administrator. This is Family Matters Grant for DYS in the amount of $74,300 with an in-kind match of $37,150.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMasters.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call?
Wagner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-291 is approved 5-0. Next is Resolution 22-292, approve Dia de los Muertos event sponsorship. We talked about it in the work session. Motion by Mr. Pike,
Second.
second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion?
Can we expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, and if Dee Dee's here, if you want to come talk to us, and I will.
It's the Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Hello, Dee Dee Quarry, DDMBA. And we're asking for $5,000 sponsorship from the city for Dia de los Muertos. It is a partnership with, excuse me, with the ACA, the Princess Theater. We have a lot that's going into this, really to reach out to our Hispanic community that continues to grow. And we're excited. It's going to be a fun event for them.
I think Bungie is sponsoring
Bungie.
a $5,000 sponsorship as well, and I think there are some other corporate sponsorships as well. But also partnering with city schools, doing some artwork, and it's kind of an all-day event.
It is.
there.
It's an all-day event. Starts with the schools. Decatur City Schools are coming to the Princess for a field trip to see a movie, and then they're going to also go over to the ACA as well. And the Carnegie's doing a special art project with them.
I'm not familiar with the Day of the Dead. What is that actually?
It is very, I would say, in Southern terms, it's like Decoration Day. It's basically, they are honoring their loved ones that have passed away. And it's celebrated in a lot of the Hispanic communities. We have lots of different ones that are represented in the planning of this, but it's each one has their own little thing that it means something to them. But most importantly, it's the celebration of their loved ones that have passed away.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Thank you, Dee Dee.
You're welcome.
All right, roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-292 is approved 5-0. Resolution 22-293, authorize the mayor to sign contract with Morgan County Emergency Management Communication District for dispatch and call processing.
Yes, sir. Chip Alexander, Legal Department. This is the annual contract for dispatch services by 911. The differences this year, they've broken out the police from fire, made them two separate issues, and the cost goes up $1385.75 per month.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMasters,
Second.
second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion?
Chief, have we had recently, I guess, I don't want to say miscommunication, but a situation where different stations, wrong stations or different, how do I say this? Have we had communication issues with 911 lately?
Sometimes, yes, we do have some issues with it. They have swapped over to a new CAD dispatch. But I mean, that's, we're working the bugs out of it. It's just the process of getting everything the way it needs to be.
How long is that
For
going to be?
ABL dispatch, that means they send the closest unit, it's not a territory. And, yeah, I mean, there has been
And I guess my concern is that that can create issues for the people who need us to be there. So, I mean, how long are we looking at before do you have any idea how long we're looking at before we get this thing resolved?
It's not like it happens every day. I mean, it's just different.
Okay, I guess if, for people who listen to scanners, it's happening more frequently than it probably should be happening though. That's my concern. Is that
I wish it didn't happen at all, I agree.
I agree. But when people are, having a heart attack or, stroke or something, they want the, quick response. But okay, so you agree with this contract? That we need to move forward here now without?
The contract is what Morgan County 911 has got for Central Square. And I think it'd be pretty well possible to change the image of the cost to do that.
Yeah, but I think we could sit down and have a conversation with them and they know what our expectations are, correct?
I think we do that already.
Okay. But we're still, okay.
Like I said, it's a work in progress. It's not perfect, but we're working to make it better.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call?
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
White.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 22-293 is approved 5-0. Next is ordinance number 22-4538, adopt changes to chapter 24.5, sections 53 and 55 of the Code of Decatur, Alabama, Wrecker Services. And Herman, do you just want to give us a brief? I know we've talked about it a few times, but.
Well, police department met along with some representatives from the record service and came up with these rates. Sylvester, if you have this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was part of it. He's very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
The gentleman behind us is very knowledgeable. And the rates are increased. Remember some weeks or now months ago, the record service came to visit and shared how we were, because we haven't changed it lately, we were behind other communities. That's what this does. It brings us more in line with what other communities are charging.
All right, we will, we do have public comment, and you can just name, address, and kind of give us, we'll do 3 minutes, but kind of what you
my
told us
name's
before.
Kenneth Hetrick, 2226 Sorrento Place, Decatur, Alabama. I mean, everything's pretty much already been discussed. We're just trying to, most of y'all already know, we're just trying to get on page with the other cities and counties around us. They've been above us for several years now on the price. So we're just trying to get pretty equal with everyone else. Try to get on the same page.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion?
Mr. Hendrick, if we have the opportunity, no one's requiring a record service to participate, correct? You can opt out at any time.
Correct.
So if it were costing you money, you could opt out?
Correct.
All right, any other discussion?
Just going to step in and say thank you, Mr. Hetrick, for coming in and taking the time to work with myself and the police department to ensure that this gets changed, not only just for you yourself, but the other record companies that are on rotation. This is a step in the right direction for a lot of people. Just to add to what Mr. Jackson said, it is an option for y'all to be on rotation, but if everybody left rotation, we'd be in a stickler situation, now wouldn't we? So I'm very grateful that each one of you jump up at 3 in the morning and come and rescue folks like myself that had a car accident about 2 months ago on the interstate. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So whenever those roadways are blocked, don't forget who comes in and blocks them. So we don't use our fancy police cars and our fancy fire engines to move those cars out of the roadway. We don't want to scratch them up too much. So that's all I got.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call?
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
White.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
All right, ordinance 22-4538 is approved 4-1. Thanks. Boards and committees, appoint Julian Price III to the Farmers Market Board, term expiring January 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMasters, second by Mr. Pepper, and that's his first,
They get a partial term.
okay, filling in. All right, any other discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Julian Price III is approved to the Farmers Market Board. Next is reappoint Sue Newcomb to the Farmers Market Board, term expiring January 1st, 25.
This will be her second full term.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pike, second by Mr. Pepper. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Sue Newcomb is reappointed to the Farmers Market Board with a vote of 5-0. Next council work session will be held October 31st, 2022 at 5 p.m. The next city council meeting will be held on November 7th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Anything else from directors? Mayor?
No, sir.
Anything else from our council? All right, we are adjourned. Thanks.